It's time again for Ask the Garden Pros with Jim and Keith. You are just in time for a special Independence Day program. Today, we're only going to talk about plants that are red, white, or blue. You fuchsia lovers will need to tune in again next week. Our phone lines are open at 303-631-1430. Now, here's Jim and Keith.
Phones. Donna is on the line out in Arvada and has a clematis and smokebush question. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Just fine. You've been surviving the spring okay? I know Arvada has a tendency to get a lot of hail.
Well, we did, but it wasn't too bad.
Oh, good.
So, but everything's looking good. And now a clematis. I had given my daughter one a few years back, and it never did bloom.
How many years?
Well, I had it a couple of years when I gave it to her, and then we transplanted it to her yard, and she had it out there about 6 years, and it did not bloom.
And how well did it grow? Did it put up some vines?
Yes, it did. It grew well, but it didn't, never any flower on it.
Okay. And did it get at least half a day of direct sun?
It was on the southeast corner of
Oh,
her,
wow.
her
So
house.
it should have gotten a lot of sun. Do you happen to know what kind of clematis it was? Because there are several varieties, and some bloom in the spring, some in the summer, and some in the fall.
Yeah, well, that one didn't bloom at all, and I don't know what kind it was.
Okay.
She wants to put another one up there.
Yeah.
So I told her I would check and see what would be the best kind to get and when would be the best time to plant it.
Well, the most dependable clematis that I've seen here in the Denver area is one called Jackman, like Jackman, and it's that dark purple with the yellow stamens in the center.
Okay.
And it's a very vigorous grower. It's easy to establish, and it blooms, usually by late May, early June at the latest, and it'll bloom very nicely for about a month. And then it takes a little bit of a rest, and then you'll get some sporadic flowers the rest of the summer.
Will that bloom the first year?
Well, that's a good question, because clematis are notoriously slow to establish. They really fall into that category of, sleep, creep, and leap. The first year, they don't do much at all. They just look at you, and you think, what have I done? And the second year, they'll put up some foliage, and they'll grow a bit, but not, the vigorous thing that you'd expect it to be. And then by the third year, they're well established, and they just take off.
Okay.
So do as little pruning on them as possible the first 2 years.
And would it be better to plant one in the spring or in the fall?
Oh, you can plant them all summer long, because they're all container grown, so they have every root they ever grew in the nursery.
Okay.
So it'll do just as well, and in fact, it'll do better in your yard, in the ground, than it will in the nursery pot at the nursery.
Oh, so we can go ahead and get that now.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. You're very informative. I really appreciate
well,
your
thank
show.
you. Thank you very much. Hey, on that smoke bush, another way to deal with that plant is, every year take out 3 or 4 of the biggest, tallest stems clear to the ground. That way you won't be missing a bush altogether.
Okay.
Okay, so every year just take out 2 or 3 or 4 stems, the biggest and oldest ones, and that'll keep the shrub smaller and more compact, and you'll always have new growth coming up from the base.
Okay. I'll tell her that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. You have a good day.
You have a great day, Donna. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so you see how it works? Donna called in, had some questions. I answered them. That's what you can do also at 303-631-1430, right here on Studio 1430 KEZW.